Hello, my name is Jessica. I'm here with Beta Virtual Assistants and my very lovely assistant who is helping me out today. So I thought I would come on today. We've been talking a lot about USA, tax changes for crypto. We've talked a lot about crypto taxes and all that sort of thing. And I usually give like a market update and all that stuff. As like in terms of like, do we need to be worried? I was talking to a friend this morning on a phone call, and a group of us talking, and we were saying, one of us was worried and like, oh no, I have all of my wealth in the stock market, and if the stock market tanks, what happens to my hard-earned wealth? Which is a worry, which is why you want to diversify. But also, there's this feeling right now that they won't let the stock market tank. Sure, there will be companies that do tank and that occasionally need to reset. So, for instance, NVIDIA was like riding high, and there's some, yes, maybe it was overpriced, but you take off the haircut and then guess what? I mean, it's already started going up just a little bit more than it was. And it's like you might temporarily see stocks go down and things like that. But I don't know, the way the world has been in the last few years, it's like they won't let the stock market as a whole fail. And the best way to make money and to keep the value of your dollar is to be in something besides dollars. So if you have parked all your money in a bank, oh my goodness, this was something my options guru said. He had been contacted by somebody who had $50,000 like 25 years ago, put it in a bank account to earn interest, and at the end of the 25 years, he has $76. In the meantime, the value of the $50,000 that he had has completely eroded. $50,000 does not buy what it used to, even 25 years ago. And he has like $76 to show for it, which is just not a good return on investment. Whereas if he had been putting that $50,000 into this 1% a day strategy that we've been learning in this options group, where not a day, it's 1% a week. So you earn 1% a week, but then you compound it. So the first week you earn 1%, and the next week the increased amount is earning 1%. And at the end of the year, if you run the math, and 1% being pretty conservative, at the end of the year, you have 68% more than when you started. So which makes more sense, parking it in a bank account where you get pennies of interest every year, or making money in the stock market? Now, occasionally the stock market does go down, and you do have to be prepared for that. And if you're following the right person, they're going to help you as the market falls. They're going to be like, okay, this is the steps you need to take. And when the market falls, it also recovers. So yes, on paper, you might be like, oh no, I'm worth much less than I was. But then if you can wait it out, and if you don't need to take money out at that moment, you can often work your way out of it. Yeah. So it's very interesting. I've been considering a new project recently, and we'll see if it happens. But it does involve investing for that reason. But the problem is, like, it's a little bit investing for other people, and it's a little bit, if you invest for other people, you have to convince them that your way is safe. And most people only have heard of 40% bonds and 60% stock, and they don't understand how risky that is. Like, where has the bond market gone over the last 25 years? I do not see people making money with bonds, which is why I've never chosen to learn how to trade bonds, because it's like, stocks are so much easier. Anyways, that's me. I love trading stocks, and I love pretending that I can trade crypto. I still haven't found time to figure out how to trade crypto, but one of these days I am going to figure out how to trade crypto, and it's going to be awesome. But in the meantime, I can take a couple minutes and just talk about an incident. So I was contacted by one of my blockchain wallet challenge alumnus, very worried because they had looked at their MetaMask app on their phone and their tokens were gone. And they were sure that their tokens were gone. They had been robbed. They were sure that they had been following safety procedures. They had been locking their MetaMask after each use, so that, if it's locked, it's harder to get into for someone stealing your funds and things like that. So they'd been locking down the wallet, and they couldn't understand where their money went. And they had an advisor that they were working with who was like, oh, your money's gone, and was not helping. So, and this is not the first time I've been contacted about this. Like, if your coins disappear out of your wallet, it can be terrifying because these coins could be worth a lot. And, you know, I mean, whether it's a couple hundred or a couple 100,000, still a shocking thing to see your coins disappear. But usually it's just a matter of cookies. So cookies are the little bits of data that help your computer or your phone or anything running like computer internet language is helping interpret your data and showing you things. Like, for instance, when you go to a site that you visit frequently and it kind of knows you already and it fills in your password, if it's like your credit card company or something, that is a cookie telling it, oh yes, we've visited before, and then it recognizes it. And there's all kinds of cookies. There's cookies that are telling people, like, if you click on a link in an email and the person sending the email has set that up to attach a cookie to you. So that cookie sends back data to the person who attached it and that you clicked on the link. And then they can kind of see, like, especially when you're marketing and trying to do internet stuff, trying to make a living on the internet, you know, all these cookies, you put cookies on things and then you can kind of tell, oh, people opened that email, but they didn't open that one. What's the difference? And then you can kind of like, you know, see what's working, see what's not working, kind of adjust your strategy. So cookies are pretty important, but cookies are really important when we get to our apps because they remember us, right? So this person's cookies basically had been erased. And whether that's because the app updated or because sometimes if you take your MetaMask wallet, for instance, to a new computer, you need to reinstall it. You need to put in your seed phrase. But the MetaMask wallet on its own, at least, I don't know if all wallets work like this, but for sure the MetaMask wallet, they're trying to be a little bit protective of you. And so they're only going to show you, usually, the main coins in your wallet. So for instance, if you have an account on the Ethereum blockchain, and you have some Ethereum tokens and then you have some other tokens, usually you have to add those other tokens into your wallet to show. And usually that happens when you purchase them. You'll often get a notification from MetaMask when you open your app and it'll say, oh, we found new tokens. Would you like to import these? And then you open it up and then it says, you know, USDT and USDC, and you say, yes, I just did buy some USDT and USDC, and then you approve it and it's all good to go. And then you can see that you have Ethereum and you have USDT and USDC, which is very good. But the trouble is when the cookies get erased. So if your cookies get erased, then you've got the problem of it doesn't recognize it. So you open up your wallet and you only have Ethereum. And maybe you had like $1,000 of USDT or USDC sitting in your wallet, but all you have is Ethereum and that's all you can see. And you might panic and freak out and be like, where did my tokens go? But the fact of the matter is, your tokens are still there. And the reason you can usually tell this, and this is the first thing I do with people who freak out about having their tokens gone, is I say, okay, what's your address? And we'll go look on the blockchain. So your address is where you send crypto. So if you want to send crypto from your exchange, like you have a Coinbase account and you want to send from Coinbase to your wallet, you take your public blockchain address from your wallet and you go to your Coinbase and you say, I want my crypto to be sent to this address. It's just like your house number. The mailman doesn't know where to deliver your mail unless the address is on it. So the string of letters and numbers that identifies your wallet is your public blockchain address. And if you give that to somebody, I want to make this really clear. If you give that to somebody, they can't do anything with it besides see what you have. So when I say to people, okay, if you want me to help you, send me your wallet address, I'm saying, okay, we can go look at it on the blockchain, but I do need the string of numbers and letters so we can actually see it. And that is not the same thing as sharing a password or as sharing your seed phrase. So your seed phrase is the series of words and the order which they go in that unlocks your wallet. If you want to move your MetaMask wallet, for instance, to a new computer, you open the MetaMask app on the new computer and you put in your seed phrase, and then it will say, oh, this is your address, and it'll pop it up. But you don't want to share that set of words with anyone. That is how, if people have access to your secret phrase, then they can take your crypto. If people have access to your public blockchain address, it's just like knowing your house number. They can send you things. They might, case the joint, but they'd have to figure out a way to break into your wallet before they could take your assets. So, so I had this person send me his wallet address, and he did, and I looked it up, and sure enough, his coins were there on the blockchain. Everything was there. Everything was totally fine. Then we had trouble with, oh my goodness, because we wanted to make sure that the cookies were reset so that he could see his tokens in his wallet address. And that's like going back and forth, just saying, push this button. Do you see this button? Do you remember when we talked about this last week on the blockchain challenge? We did cover this, and I did give you handouts that tell you how to do this and have diagrams and all this sort of thing. So anyways, a little bit challenging with the computer tech, but then he was also disappointed because he wanted to see his activity. And the only way to see the activity for that particular wallet is like the activity listed in the wallet apps is hit and miss. It can get reset, it can disappear, it can only be showing you some of the activity. If you really want to see your activity, you have to go to the blockchain. And then you have to understand what you're reading, which is like, oh my goodness, this is why we run the blockchain wallet challenge, because we want people to understand how to look at the stuff. We want people to figure out what they're looking at. So I took him through the whole process. It was a challenge getting him to the right website with his address so we could look, and computer issues, always computer issues. But we did eventually get there, and then I said, do you remember when we talked about the different tabs? And here's the tab that shows your transactions. We looked at that, and then we said, okay, now we're looking at the transactions. And he thought the first column of data on that page is the transaction IDs, which looks like addresses. And he's like, there's just this list of addresses. And I'm like, no, that's the transaction ID. Now we need to move over to this column where it says the number of tokens, and then it says which tokens, and then it says the date that the tokens were taken out on. So once we went through that, then he had the information he needed. And he was just frustrated because he really had gotten used to seeing it on his phone. And I told him, you cannot count on the phone apps to stay the same. They show different information. Sometimes they show more, sometimes they show less. If your cookies get reset, I had another person call me in a panic. Must have been back in December. And he was in a panic also because he'd been watching a YouTube video on how to be safe with crypto, and it had said, you want to clear your cache and your browsing history every so often. So he did, which cleared his cookies, which meant MetaMask didn't see his assets anymore. And so then he was like, oh, my crypto's gone. I erased all my crypto. It's like, no. The app is only the thing that accesses the data on the blockchain for you and shows it to you in a format so you can kind of see with it. The app also is the way that you interact with it. So if you want to send crypto, if you want to purchase crypto, that you will do that in the app. But your crypto is not actually in the app. Your crypto is in the blockchain. So it's at that address, there is a record of you having so many tokens, and that is crypto, which is a really hard concept to really understand. Anyways, so I thought I would share a little bit about that. If you are in a similar situation and you think that all of your crypto has disappeared, it probably hasn't. Do not panic. Take a deep breath. Whew. Take a few deep breaths, and then check your address. Take your address to the blockchain for that wallet, for that blockchain. So if you're in an Ethereum wallet, you would go to the Etherscan, which is the blockchain explorer for Ethereum. If you're in a different blockchain, such as Polygon or Binance Smart Chain or whatever it is, you go to that blockchain and you paste in your address, and it'll pull up. The first thing it pulls up, usually the top left corner, is what you have in your wallet, including your gas fees, including your other tokens. It'll show you all the junk too, which is the problem with looking at the public blockchain records, is that public blockchain is not protecting you, unlike MetaMask. MetaMask and some of the other wallets, they kind of shield you a little bit because they're like, oh yeah, you're getting like 100 Polygon junk NFTs. We're not going to tell you that because you don't really need to know that. And it does freak people out sometimes. Like, we'll have people import their stuff, their info into the tax software, and they'll go, where did all these coins come from? And is somebody hacking me? And it's like, no, they're not hacking you. They're just sending it. They're kind of like spraying as many wallets as they can with these NFTs. And so often you'll get an NFT that says something like claim Ethereum, or special airdrop bonus or visit our website. And then in certain blockchains like the Solana ecosystem, you'll get little tiny bits of Solana, and also in XRP and XLM also. And you'll get like this 0.000001 amount of Solana, and you'll say, what is this? And there's a little note attached to it, that says, oh, come visit this cool token, check out this new token, or come see our website. And yeah, people have no idea because they don't know that this is happening. But this does happen. It's totally normal. There's no need to panic. If you don't understand your wallet, how to use it, when to worry about it, when not to, then you definitely should sign up for one of our blockchain challenges. We'll have another one coming up in a couple weeks. Possibly should turn on the page to accept people who are interested. In any case, crypto is an exciting place, but it is still a little bit not intuitive when you're in there. So if you need help with understanding your crypto, or especially getting organized for crypto and taxes and analysis, and are you making the right decisions with your investments and all that sort of thing, we love to help people. So definitely reach out to us if you need it. Otherwise, I think I am going to sign off for the day, but I hope you all have a lovely week, and we'll see you again very soon.
I truly believe that knowledge is power when it comes to crypto. If you agree, share this video with someone who could learn from it, and we'll see you in the next one.